After months of planning, a friend and I decided to go to Birmingham, Alabama to the Barber Motorsport Park for the 2-day high-performance driving course offered by Porsche. Here we are taking off. The green stuff on the window is the stuff they spray to de-ice the plane. And at this point I'm super excited about the 2-day course in Alabama. The flight was pretty uneventful. Someone from the Grand Bohemian Hotel was there to receive us at the airport, and they drove us in style to the Grand Bohemian Hotel. This is a very nice boutique hotel and has a very nice art gallery inside as well. After coffee, we head to the track. The Barber Motorsport Park is a beautiful garden-like track with great facilities. This is an 880-acre racing facility, and the track is 2.38 miles long with 16 turns and up to 80 feet of elevation changes. So it's a technically very challenging and fun track to drive on. Early morning breakfast is followed by a 45-minute classroom session where they teach you the basics of driving on a track. During the course of the day, you get to drive several cars, including the new 992 Generation 911, the 911 Turbo S, the Cayman GTS, and the 911 GTS, both automatic and manual. This is a lap in the Porsche 911 Turbo S. So the instructor is in the car in the front, and then you follow behind. We only had 2 cars to follow. And so here we are pitting out into the racetrack. And the first lap is a fairly medium pace lap, just so that you can know your car better, know the brake and pedal feel of each car, and also you know how the car behaves under hard braking, hard acceleration, and also to let you know the track. So this first curve here is called the Carousel. So you keep inside of the curve, and then I'm going to pause the video here for a minute. And once the aim is to connect the dots. So you go from green cone to green cone. So the green cone is at the apex and then at the track out. So once you hit the apex, then your eye goes to the next green cone, which is track out cone. And then, once you hit the apex cone, you're gradually accelerating towards the apex, towards the track out cone. And then once you hit the track out cone, you gradually accelerate almost to full throttle right about here. And then this is a straightaway, and most of the time you're flat out here, and then the numbers on the left indicate your braking zones. So generally you brake between number 4 and 3 depending on your speed. And the braking on track is completely different from how you brake on the highway or on a regular street. So here you really get on the brakes, firm pressure on the brakes at 3 or 4, and then you gradually ease off your brakes. This type of braking is called threshold braking. So you brake really hard without engaging the ABS. So as soon as you feel the ABS kick in, you gradually release pressure. And that makes a car stop much shorter than if you were to engage ABS. And once after the initial hard braking, you let off the brake gradually, and then you still have a little bit of brakes onto the corner. So outside cone, apex cone, and then once you're at the apex, you gradually accelerate as you straighten your steering. And then once past the track out cone, you're flat out through this area. And again, braking zone, hard initial braking, and then you gradually peel off the brakes as you enter the corner. So that's called trail braking. And the purpose of that is once you have the brake engaged, the front of the car dips down and you have more pressure on the front tires. So that makes turning in really easy. You'd be surprised. The car actually rotates as you turn in with the brakes engaged slightly. So here you're not actively braking. So as you turn into the corner, you're coming off the brakes. So you still have a little bit of brake pressure on, but you're coming off gradually, coming off. At the apex, you start to accelerate again. And this here is a very technical turn. So once you connect the dots and go from cone to cone, there's a small area between me and the car in front where it's straight. So in this straight area, you brake hard again. So that'll load up the front tires and let you turn into the next corner. And I'm going to play again. Right there, braking, brake off, throttle on. You track out to the track out cone, and then you're flat out here. And then once you're here, you're just brushing the brakes right here, just brushing the brakes to load up the front tires again. And this is called the S curve. So here there are two curves that come up, and the aim is to straighten out the curve as much as possible. And then most of the time you're doing about 75 miles an hour through this fast turn. So brushing the brakes, loading up the front tires, sharp turn into the left, turn to the right, and then you track out to the cone on the far left. And here you sometimes can go off track a little bit. And the next curve coming up, hard brakes, turn in left as you peel off the brakes, brake again in a straight line, turn into the next cone, and then gradually increase the throttle as you turn your wheel towards the center. So this here is an interesting corner. As you can see, it's downhill. So this is a very technical track. So you're on the throttle as you come down, and as soon as you come to the cone, you take your weight off the throttle. You come off throttle completely. This is only one of the two curves in the track where you come off throttle completely. So what happens when you come off throttle is somewhat similar to braking. So the nose dives down and you load up the front tires. And then once you load up the front tires, you make a sharp right, and you see that curb all the way to the right on the inner corner of the curve. So you go into that curve and that's the apex of the turn. So you take your foot off the throttle and coast all the way to the inner part of the curve, and then you accelerate again. So there you go. Coming in, accelerating again, and here there's a braking zone. You try to brake in a straight line as possible. From here, sharp turn to the right towards the apex cone, and this is the other area where you take off. So right here, what you do is you apply a sharp throttle, get the car moving forward until the next green cone, and once you get to the green cone, you take off the accelerator pretty quickly. And the purpose here is to load up the front tires again, getting ready for the next turn. So here I'm accelerating hard, off throttle, nose dips down, and you rotate towards the next apex cone. And here you're accelerating flat out. So a lot of times on the straightaways, I was getting almost 100 to 120 miles an hour, and then hard brake again. And then as you turn in, you're coming off the throttle. Coming off the brakes, and that's called trail braking, and that lets you turn in much quicker. Again, apex cone, accelerating out to the track out cone, accelerating, braking in a straight line. That'll make you turn quicker, peeling out the brakes, and gently on the accelerator on the inner part of the curve, and then you're tracking out again to the next track out cone. From here, I'm going to just let you see the lap by yourself. Having never been on a track before, I was really surprised at the amount of speed I was able to carry through some of these corners without actually flying off the track. I mean, these cars are incredible, the amount of grip they have. the amount of G-forces they generate, the brakes is just amazing. I was never once scared of being in the track. And you can see that we are so fast that we have caught up to the group in front of us. And the track is so well organized that they eventually do let us pass in one of the straightaways. When you're in the car, you know, everything happens so fast. You really have to focus on your braking points, focus on where you need to lift the throttle off, focus where you need to be flat out, and you know, everything's, you know, you're essentially doing a lap in about a minute and a half to 2 minutes, but it feels like half an hour because you're concentrating so hard. And here I'm moving to the side so the car in front, behind me, can now follow the instructor. There's a carousel. I'm carrying about 50 miles per hour speed through there. Track out, accelerate all the way up, and here a reference point is the tower. So you just head towards the tower, and as you crest that hill, you can feel the front end of your car becoming extremely light, and the car can squirm around a little bit. And I must say that may be one of the few areas on the track that I was a little concerned about, because you know, the tires are not loaded up, and you know, if you're pointed in the wrong direction, bad things can happen. Again, we're getting a little slow here because there are some slower cars in front, but soon enough the instructor will let us pass these cars. There. So, you know, the instructor radioed the other cars to move to the left so we can accelerate past them. A short segment of track time in a Cayman GTS. It was raining outside and we had our windshield wipers on, and the cars had amazing grip even in the rain on a cold morning. We were able to reach almost full speed in the straightaways and maybe 80% of the speed in the corners, and not once did the car slide or feel unsafe. This is a lap by the instructor. At the end of the course, they will give you a hot lap around the track, and this is an amazing experience. At the end of the day, you know, you feel like you've gained most of the skills and you feel like a pretty good driver until you get into the hot seat with an instructor. I'm going to let you guys watch this. In the Autocross, they have cones set in a parking lot, and the aim is to get through the track as soon as you can without knocking the cones over. This is a really fun exercise, and on the second day they time you, and there's a little bit of a competition between the different teams. In this exercise, you get to drive 4 cars: a Porsche Panamera Hybrid, which is really fast, 2 911 GTS, and a Macan. Here the aim is to go fast between cones, brake hard, then go around the corner, brake hard, and make acute right or left angle turns. This was quite fun as well. This is a Skidpad, where it's a very low friction surface, and they teach you the principles of oversteer and understeer and how to correct them. This is a lot of fun, at the same time also incredibly frustrating because it's very hard to get it right. You can see that I tried to induce oversteer by pumping the throttle, and then you're supposed to catch the slide and correct for it. So I spin out many times, and then towards the end I was able to correct it once or twice, but then I spin out again towards the end. Here's how it should be done, and this is an instructor showing how it's done.
You have to get off of the throttle, correct the car, steer in the direction of the slide, wait for the pause, which is where the weight transfer starts to slow, and then we recover the car back straight. Okay? So CPR, keep that in mind. Now, again, vision is vision, okay? Wherever you look is where that car's going to be.
Yeah, baby! Look at that! That's showing off!
That was awesome, man. That was awesome.
At noon, a very nice lunch is provided with a fantastic view of the track. The off-road test in the Cayenne was pretty exciting. I was really impressed with the capabilities of this car. You'll see that we go through an area of pretty deep water. The water comes up almost to the bonnet of the car. I'm pretty sure the engine was submerged in water. And at the end of the ditch, you have to come up a steep incline, which is purely slush. And I'm amazed at how much traction there was in trying to pull out of that.
So the water goes up all the way up over
Wow, this is
the
impressive.
top of the grill. Almost to the hood. There you go. There you got it. You're through the worst part. Now give it a little left. A little bit left.
Left,
Left. And go left. And go.
Go.
And straighten around up the hill, and you got it. Not bad for all-season tires, huh?
Which way do we go?
Not
Right?
bad.
That way.
Okay. Keep my steering wheels and the wheels straight ahead. There you go. Keep her coming. More throttle. If it starts to bog down, don't give up on it. Keep going. Let the traction management do its thing, and it is beautiful.
All right.
Pull up a
In the next exercise, there's a large hill in the middle of the road, and the instructor will have us drive the SUV around and over the side of the hill, and at one point two of the wheels of the car are off the ground. This was pretty impressive and scary at the same time.
wheel for a moment. Slow and easy. All right.
At the end of the second day, we took a tour of the impressive motorcycle museum. They have about 1,600 motorcycles, an impressive collection indeed. It also features the world's most extensive Lotus collection, anchored by the Lotus 21. We had a shuttle waiting at the end of the tour that took us directly to the airport for our flight back home. The last 2 days were truly two of the best and most exciting days I've had in my life. If you own a car, not even a sports car, and if you enjoy driving even a little bit, you have to do this. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. In fact, you'll want to keep doing this over and over again.